we've certainly got the general public on our side after those horrific assaults at Franklin by a terrorist prisoner. Now is the time to clamp down and regain control of our prisons, because they are in chaos, and the chaos is no fault of staff. We've had decades of underinvestment from successive governments. That has to change. I know prisons are not vote winners, but prisons are an integral part of our national security. We have brave prison officers on the front line who protect society day in, day out. They are now at imminent risk, so we need to protect them, and the only people who can do that are the government, and the only way they can do that is to listen to the people on the front line and their voice, which is the POA.
I think the public only get notified and only interested in prison stuff when it's high profile things. We've had that abhorrent attack on our staff at Franklin by a high profile prison, and because of that it's more in the public eye.
I think with what's happened in the news lately, it's obviously a big focus, and obviously what happened was horrible, but I think because it's been so publicised, we've got a lot more public support this time, so I think we're in a lot more of a position, particularly with conference and stuff, to be able to talk about this stuff and where people are going to listen, because the public actually care for once.
It's kind of like the hidden service, isn't it, everyone says, whereas I think more and more seems to be coming out, and the realisation that what goes on in prison is pretty crazy. But yeah, visibility is the main thing. Keeping with current times, isn't it? Because obviously everyone's on social media, a majority of people, so it's the best platform to get the message across. Definitely, even just to share views and maybe change your ideas on things and gain a different perspective.
It's behind the four walls, isn't it? So it doesn't get spoke about, and it's very easy for your average Joe to not really know what happens behind them closed walls. So it's really good. You see, I say, Mark Fairhurst and Cocoa Pops are synonymous at the minute. He seems to be on BBC Breakfast every morning, so it's raising awareness. It's making sure we're all talking about it for the right reasons, and I'd much rather be coming here every year with good news stories and saying how well we're doing, but unfortunately every year it seems to be getting progressively worse, and we need to do all we can to try and push that message. We have got the support from the general public, and the MPs and our paymakers know what we're dealing with.
Of course, the prisons are really in the top of the news at the minute, particularly with the capacity crisis. So it really, a lot of people have got a lot of interest in it, because it's one of those areas where if you've never worked in a prison or you've never been around one, you know very little about it, so it definitely generates a lot of interest. The POA is doing a great job of making sure that its members' voices are heard at all levels, but behind the scenes, but like you say, also in the national media, and making sure the public are actually more aware of what the role is, what it involves, and the things that prison officers are facing every day. But not just that, we want more people to come into the prison service, and more people with different experiences as well, and I think that visibility from the union in the media will only help that.
Now, because of we're in a modern age with all digital and all that sort of thing, it's getting more out into the public. The National Executive have become a lot more professional in getting it out themselves. Airtime on the news programmes and all that, so the public and the general public are getting to see it, because it's only 2-3 years ago this wasn't getting out. We were still a forgotten service. Whereas now we're becoming more out there and people are actually seeing what's going on.
Yeah, we've got the media on board. The media at last are interested in what's going on in prisons. And most of the time, the severe attacks my members face would be headlines. If it was a police officer, rightly so, I've got a problem with that. But we're a law enforcement agency on the front line as well. The fact that we're hidden behind a big grey wall shouldn't affect the headlines. We need the public support, which we're getting, and we need the media to keep reporting on this and highlighting the issues we face, so we get that investment, so we increase our staffing levels, and so we get the vital protections that we need.
Well, I certainly listen to the radio quite a bit, and I've heard both Mark Fairhurst and Steve Gillen getting the arguments across, and it is quite nice to sometimes hear that we're getting a bit of media support, because the issues that we're facing, they're not new. And we just seem to have hit the right time where there's an interest in what's going on inside prisons.
I think the way the executive's done things with the media releases, and now they're engaging better with social media as well, the job is becoming more broadcast, whereas before it was very limited. There wasn't a lot on the prison service, there wasn't a lot on the POA. They've met the change in the times, and now people are becoming interested. So we've had one in Belmarsh, we've had one unfortunately at Franklin, and then there's been a concerted indiscipline at HMP Loudon Grange. Before, again, it'd only get a couple of lines in a newspaper. Now it's becoming publicly known. People are saying, why are prison officers being attacked? Why have prisoners got access to cooking oil? why has this prisoner not got the correct supervision? So it's the prison service are having to answer awkward questions from the public, and they want to know why their civil servants are being injured at work.
Oh, fantastic, absolute breath of fresh air. I'm passionate, and you know, that's what I love to see, and that's what new members will see. These people are up there and they've got the compassion, and they'll fight for our causes. Every time you put TV on now, we see our mark on it, and it's great. It's unfortunate that this has happened, but it has put us back into the press. They have been given the opportunity to get their side out and basically tell the public what's really going on out there, instead of behind closed doors. Because you get through them gates and the public, you're from a bubble, you're in our own little bubble and never ever leaks. So it's great to see them out there and the support of people.